As they motion for you to take a seat, they step in and pick one of their own, moving it so that they can face the ring of chairs that will eventually form.
Which chair does he pick?
Picks the one you brought most recent.
Nice.
Ah, please make yourselves comfortable. It might be beneficial if I give you a quick rundown of the items I anticipate you to do. It's very simple. The city of Camarilla. Not all of the people get along in the Camarilla sense. You can cause discord, you can approach it however you want. The main objective is I want to know what is being brought into the city and when. Or whom. I'm led to believe it is going to be a whom. To do that, you may need to either find someone of an inner circle or become an inner circle. But you can choose how you want to do that. You're newer. I thought assimilating for the time being would be easier. It is a city of Cainites. Some of them older than you, most of them older than you. Caution is advised. But not essential. And then they will sit back.
So, do we just rock up in the city and say, like, hi, we're new vampires, can we join your club? Because, like, Smokey found us. So, who's going to find us in the Camarilla?
I thought Smokey hit us on the head with the shovel.
So, if it was Smokey that hit us on the head of the shore, but he rounded us up afterwards. He kind of looked after us and got us all together.
Smokey's an informant for both sides. He does what is most beneficial for himself. He is uncomfortable with the current politics of the city, but they also make him very wealthy on both sides of his deal. He is only as useful as long as he is not caught. And he knows that.
So he's the one that told you about Alice.
Yes. To a degree. We have local Cainites in Laplace, and they noticed a change in the area. Cainites are fairly protective of where they live, for one reason or another. Finite resources of food or power. Predominantly, it is a power concern with the Camarilla. In the Sabbat, we don't worry about our power. We use it. I think one of you or a few of you may have met the local face in Laplace. Hank, that was the individual that picked you up and dropped you off.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I remember him.
And the rest of you, that was the blonde-haired, business suit attired younger gentleman.
The guy nearly shot in the head, yeah.
Yes, the one that you nearly shot. Yes. That never seemed to notice that you were skulking around his vehicle as he was dropping Hank off.
The thing I'm most worried about is they're protective of their areas, we're going to turn up in their areas. We're going to attract attention. They're going to ask us a bunch of questions. They're going to ask us, "Hey, where you from?" Like, Hanks just said, "Oh yeah, we're new vampires." Like, and they're going to be like, "Well, what? How did you turn into vampires then? Like, how do we?" Assumably, we're not allowed to say Sabbat.
I have arranged a few contacts in the city for you already. Some of them, they are genuinely your sire, and they are on our side. You won't necessarily be pushed to explain how you became kindred in their words. It's not
Okay.
always a savory experience from one person to another, though it should be. Um, that curiosity you can answer with, that's personal. And it is. It is a very personal point. As for where you're from, you can tell them where you're from in life. You don't have to do specifics. You can say, well, originally I was from, what's the state these days? DC, Virginia, something about that. You can be honest. You can just answer where you were originally from. And if they ask where you got turned, say Louisiana. I would like to assuage your concerns a little. They are not unaccustomed to random Cainites showing up on their doorstep right now. They have an influx of people suddenly turning up in chaos in the street that they are having to control, and that is part of our plan. If you make yourselves useful, I am certain that they will welcome you. But you don't have to become part of the Camarilla if that's not the approach you want to take. I just need to know when they are expecting to bring over their guest from overseas.
Okay.
Just like a specific guest they're bringing over.
Yes. And one very specific guest that they are bringing over.
Do you
Because
know
I
anything
want to
about?
make them our guest. Sorry, what was that, Phil?
Do we know anything about them? Do you know anything about them? Can you narrow it down?
That's what I intend to pull out of Anne this evening.
Right.
Um, Table talk. Jules, when you were speaking with Anne about her, I believe that she informed you that she was afraid of the person coming over when she learned about who or what they were through the rumor mill, and that's why she was trying to get out. She just wanted to get away from New Orleans.
Uh, Jules, thanks. Jules will mention that. She said that she was scared of him.
Did she mention anything else? I think they mentioned. I think
Did
this
you
was
mention
what
werewolves out of character?
they
Yeah,
I think they
did.
did, didn't they?
They mentioned
Yeah.
that as well.
the
I think
Lucaru.
they mentioned about diablerie to a degree to you. I think that's where one of your questions came from.
Gotcha. Jules will say the Lucaru and Diablo, the soul sucking, because but she can't remember. It's some D word.
The Lugaru are a local population that have lived there for a very long time. The Camarilla are making nice with them. They're pretending like it's going to become a utopia, and they're waiting until the Lugaru make the first move or show a weak opening, and then they will move in and they will call them out. We can't coexist with those of a more earthen nature. Werewolves and their familials are something that are innately counter to our essence. We're seen as a curse on the land by them.
So not only do we have to worry about the Camarilla, but we also have to worry about werewolves?
Most of them will not enter the city proper, but you should likely do your best to avoid more wooded areas.
Great, so they're like bears.
Yes, that is a very good way to think of it.
Are we stronger than werewolves?
Some of us, they are very strong.
Looks at Hank.
Yes.
Jules will look both at Hank and Frank and be like,
If you see them in their forms as intended and not as they walk normally. So if you see them in more of a wild shape, it will be very difficult to keep your wits about you unless you are very strong-willed.
Oh, you mentioned some of us have got sires that we're going to meet. Who is that?
Well, I can tell you yours. Yours does not mind. Do you mind?
No, not at all.
They're very well. Your sire you work for.
Yeah. Cool. I just wasn't sure if that was common knowledge, if you guys knew that or not.
I am aware of it. It is not something I am spreading. And since you gave me the go ahead, I shared it. The reason why you would be more easily integrated is because of that. Their presence is already there. It would be explainable.
Okay, and she's all on board with that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
She was not necessarily one of ours to begin with, but she has a curiosity and she wants to know answers. So we are working together tentatively.
Okay.
You were the olive branch. If you don't want to approach by ingratiating yourselves, what would you like to know? I won't send you there without preparation.
I mean, I'd like to know who turned me into a vampire. Would be nice. Quite nice to know what the rules are. Who's the who are the people who are in charge? Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, well, let's start with their rules. Each city has a unique set of rules, but there are 6 traditions that they primarily adhere to and uphold. So these are the 6 things that you would need to pay attention to most. The others, local Cainites would likely instruct you on if you were close to breaching. The first is the Masquerade. The Camarilla hide the existence of Cainites. They don't acknowledge it. It is never to be known by the public. You are not to jeopardize that. It's counter to what we believe, but that is the Camarilla way. The second is domain. And domain is the prince's territory, the city, if you will. And the prince is the individual that leads the city in choices and meting out punishment. He has a system of the eldest in the city of each bloodline forming his council that assist him in ruling the city. Progeny would be where your difficulties would lie. They only permit one to sire with permission. You're not permitted to run around and create your other Cainites, your child or childer, as they say, without permission. If you do, it is a grave offense. That leads us to the fourth, which is accounting. Until a child is seen as ready to stand on their own, the sire will be responsible for them.
Okay.
And until such time as that, the child is fully obedient to their sire. Hospitality is very similar to here. You announce yourselves and request hospitality, and you follow by the rules of the area that you're in. So I have extended my hospitality to you. I have let you know that you are welcome here for the next few nights and that you are welcome to feed. Very similar, you would do something like that with the other individuals inside the city. The city's broken up into different parts under different kindred. The prince is over all of those. And then the last one is the right of destruction, or to kill another Cainite. It's reserved for the prince primarily, but an elder, such as that of his council, could call a blood hunt. And that would entail ordering the final death or destruction of the vampire that the blood hunt is called for. At that time, you would be permitted to kill and or potentially diablerize that individual. They are very against diablerie. And have
Because
methods of seeing if you have done so or not, just so you know.
is it because of the sucking and they just don't want the confusion of like different bodies and other bodies?
It's one of the reasons why. It's a complete destruction of the Cainite prior. So either you lose yourself or they lose themselves. It's, I would imagine, worse than a true death. Because your essence becomes utilized by the other Cainite. You are trapped. You don't get a release. But that being said, and though they are against it, we encourage it for those that are unable to fulfill their duties, are not seen as worthy. It empowers us further. They were not befitting the gift. And with that, they will sit back once more.
So this accounting thing is the thing that concerns me because I don't even know who my vampire daddy is.
Yeah, he
Um,
raises a good point. I don't know mine either.
Jules, yours wishes to remain anonymous for the time being.
So would it be best that I don't go into the Camarilla?
No, there are situations where you could.
Oh.
Frank, yours is similar, but due to different reasons. They move around quite a bit. You may meet them in the not distant future, however, as we will continue to be in touch and they do stop in. Those of you who are unable to indicate a sire could state that you want to see how the life of a Camarilla is, so they would pay more close attention to you in that situation. Or you could state that you have been not necessarily foregone by your sire, but your sire left you. You were created and left, and you are seeking knowledge about your new life in the night.
Okay.
As for your method of getting into the city, Smokey will take you and drop you off at a certain area. If you want to make connections to meet people before then, you have access to my phone. Tomorrow night, we will have most of the evening, if you don't make them tonight. And then around morning, hopefully, weather permitting, Smokey will take you into town. Tomorrow, we also observe your right of affirming yourselves within the Sabbat. Or we could do that tonight, as I see some are impatient. I have no problem with that if everyone is ready.
What are we going to do in this right then? What's our bit?
The Valdery is a a rite that was created by the Sabbat to reaffirm your allegiance to one another as well as the Sabbat in general. That you share our like-mindedness and that together you are an official pact. You will each bleed into a goblet. No great amount, but it will be mixed, and then each of you will drink. And this will break the bonds that you held from being sired, anything that you may have begun to create from feeding from another kindred if you have. And then it will form a sense of loyalty to one another.
Okay.
Not in the greatest sense of a bond where you would go above and beyond for one another, but you would not want to betray each other easily. And then from then on, it will be a monthly ritual for your priest to take up. Whomever will take that mantle.
Choose a priest.
A priest is a member of the pack that is primarily over the rites and their observance. Not particularly religious in nature, though you could be. It's simply to make certain that the Sabbat ways are upheld.
Okay.
I will not be a member of your pack. However, I am willing to join in on your first ceremony. As a measure and gesture of my good faith in your group. And to show that I do not have the intention to simply send you to your deaths.
So does that is the priest in charge? Is that what Doc's job is?
We do revere those of what you're accustomed to calling a religious ranking as slightly higher. You could say that if that is going to be Dr. Isaac's role. there is a reverence or a honor behind being a priest. Because they're meant to arbitrate. They keep us in line. We do not fear our Cainite heritage, our gifts, but we also respect our traditions.
Doc, you're the priest then.
Okay.
Cool.
I have plenty of books here for how you may want to approach your new lives. And their gaze changes to you, Dr. Isaacs. Or if you need to learn the rites. Because you will be teaching them, if that is the post you will take.
If no one else wants it, then I won't turn it down. But I will need to study.
I can assist you with that. You asked who's in power over New Orleans. It is a name that you will hear a number of times, and it will do well for you to remember it regardless of how you take your approach. Prince Gilbo.
One more time.
Prince Gilbo. He is, if I am led to believe, a bit of a native to the Louisiana parts. He is currently the one that is at the head of the Camarilla for New Orleans.
Is he very old?
Younger than some, not nearly as old as the one that preceded him.
And we're not allowed to eat him, right?
I don't care.
Oh.
Even Jules will snicker at that.
No. I I suppose you might think otherwise, but I don't mind if you do. I don't mind if you eat every single Cainite that you come across that is not of use or is a Camarilla and refuses to help.
Changing my ambition. Eat every vampire I come across who is not useful.
This is a very, very important mission. I'm not advocating that you decimate the local Cainite population. However, if it gets you the information I need, do what you have to do.
All right, so we could just like grab someone who we think might know and beat them until they tell us, right?
They nod.
Why didn't you say that in the first place? That would have been much easier.
Oh, I said you could take whatever approach you wanted after you said you were concerned about slipping in.
I thought we had to be all subtle like. I'm not really very good at that.
I thought it would be the better approach. But what I believe may not be the truth all the time. If you're confident in your capacity to grab and extricate information, go for it. Take the path that best suits your strengths.
And it's that easy to like just say, "Hi, we're new," and like just like we don't know shit, and then our sire just just left us. Is that easy to just get in?
Oh, they are bleeding hearts in the Camarilla.
They're suckers. I would at least like.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I would just.
They will look into you extensively. You'll
Oh,
be under a fine-tuned microscope at all points.
I hate them already.
right. They just.
However, they are bleeding hearts, and they love a redemption story.
Are
How do
they
we
the
stick
type?
together if we're gonna? Sorry, Jules. How do we know we're gonna stick together? From what Jules said, they've all got different clans, and we all get pulled into our clans. How do we make sure we can still talk to each other?
That's where the coterie comes into play.
Yeah, that
Uh,
word, not a coterie, but a coterie. Okay.
Coteries are groups inside the Camarilla that work together, not always of the same clan. You use your differences to strengthen your coterie. You rule over a small area granted to you by the prince, and you maintain and make yourselves useful. You play the game of politics. That's how you would be able to stay closer together. Your clans in the Camarilla, due to their fixation, will always try to get you to give your loyalty to your clansmen, not necessarily those that are closest to you. They see division where there shouldn't be. We are all Cainites.
So could we rock up as a group and say we've all met each other, we work well together, we'd like to join the Camarilla, but we have to be a coterie?
Stepping in and requesting a presence in the city, but demanding that you be a group is a little bit difficult. A coterie and domain are usually granted once you've proven yourselves useful, worthy, and as well as amicable towards the prince's goals.
Okay.
Not impossible, but a definitely difficult approach.
So we
Peter.
all go in individually and then find a place to meet up afterwards?
Well, a couple of you seem to know each other already.
I don't think so. Not before this night.
I thought
Not,
you
not
did know
before
each
we all
other.
met. I kind of know Jules's family.
Yeah, he knows my family, but I don't really. I think I've seen him around, but I'm not.
I'm bottom low rung on the ladder. Jules is right up the top there. So yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't notice.
I'm sorry. I think you look familiar. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No. I'm just a bouncer, man. You wouldn't know me necessarily.
Maybe just your establishment then?
Sorry, say again, Doc.
Just your establishment? You said you're a bouncer?
Yeah. So my boss employs me. It's my boss's place.
And you just mentioned that your boss is your sire. So maybe your
Yeah.
establishment.
Yeah.
You can meet up there.
We could. Yeah. Yeah. It's a bar club. We could meet up there.
What kind of bar?
Strip club.
One of the better known establishments. Very well run. Peter, you seem to be deep in thought.
Just trying to think about the best way of doing it. Problem is, I'm kind of known in the city.
I picked you for a different reason.
Okay.
We needed someone of your employ.
Okay.
There's a secondary part to what I want you to do inside the city. And Peter is uniquely positioned for this because of your employ.
Right.
So, as there are individuals which reinforce the laws for while you are living, police officers, guards, government, however you want to attribute that, there are those which would want to enact certain policies on Cainites.
Okay.
How familiar are those present with history?
What kind of history?
European history, religious history.
I mean, oh, no. I was going to say I was over there in the war.
I'm decent at it.
Yeah, Doc would know that.
Jules and Dr. Isaacs, you can give me, let's see. I would say intelligence academics at a 3 difficulty.
Let me rouse the blood. Oop.
Send you to the city, and the first thing you're gonna do is gonna eat people.
That's one way to introduce myself. I am hungry.
Hi, hungry. I'm.
And you said difficulty 3?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. 1 to 3. I don't know jack shit.
And roll.
Yeah. I think I can do up to 3.
Mm-hmm. It should have a. You should be able to just click and it'll reroll for you.
And difficulty 3. 2 of 3.
So together you got 3.
Yeah.
Dr. Isaacs, will you be trying to recall?
No, I rolled, but I rolled 1 of 3. History was not my
Oh, I see.
minor.
Jules, you are picking up on some of the hints that the gardener is dropping. You imagine that this is associated with the church, to say the least. And as they continue, you start to put pieces together, realizing that some of the more historical religious wars were likely more than you recall being taught about inside Sunday school.
Okay. Julie didn't mention that. So the Crusades just weren't all about that?
Correct.
And the Inquisition?
Yes, and I believe that they are making their way into New Orleans. Cities which have a very large Cainite presence tend to end up with some semblance of the Inquisition present. And when you run into the Inquisition, you are very capable in handling them to a degree. And what they have to their advantage is numbers and science. Right now, it's mostly numbers, to my understanding. Peter, they are beginning to try and join the force
Okay.
So you'll have two fronts to fight on. Address how you will. Why, Chris?
So we have to deal with not only the Camarilla and werewolves, but also church people that want to kill us.
Yes, the absolute worst. Church goers. Have you seen the number of churches a city around here has?
Oh yes.
Yes.
I
Quite
used to go to
fascinating.
church.
I would not recommend it going forward.
I haven't been for a long time.
I understand. Churches are not particularly hospitable for us.
Mostly because of the Inquisition.
No, mostly because how to phrase this? Faith is powerful and can actually do things to us. It's rare to run into someone with faith so strong that it does that, but faith is truly powerful. That being said, churches on consecrated ground could potentially have an adverse effect on you.
Wait, God's real?
Something's real.
I mean, I'm
If you
real,
want to call
but
it God, it's one of the greater mysteries I'm working on learning about. I don't know if I call it God, but faith is real.
okay, I don't understand. I don't suppose
Churches,
that matters.
church is bad juju, usually.
That I get.
Yep. You'll know somebody of strong faith. You'll get bumps on your arms, like the little ones where your hair stands up, and you get a sense around them.
What do we know about this prince?
Prince Gilbo,
Yeah. What do we know about him? Other than being a dick.
he's from Baton Rouge. His desire is to create a more welcoming place for our kind. Well, in the Camarilla, those who adhere to the Camarilla's way. Right now, I think he's trying to bring over some of the old world with him. And by old world, I mean some of those of a bloodline we've not seen prevalently in a long time. That's what I want you to find out for me. I want you to confirm if that is the intention, and I want to know when they will be coming, because I have a personal guest that I want them to meet. And if you manage this, you will be invited to meet them as well.
Okay. I
Consider it
am.
a great honor.
Oh. An old clan. Oh, what is this about clans? Like, so what? Like, are we all different clans? I know they're not like really important in the Sabbat, but the Camarilla really put a focus on it. So how do we know what clan we are?
You are all different clans. Peter, you're clan Gangrel. You're more attuned to nature. It
Mm.
also explains why you were able to shift your shape. Anne is of the same clan, from my understanding.
Okay.
Jules, you are of the Ventru. They are leaders, typically embraced. So individuals of a political power or nobility. Frank is Malkavian. A lot of newer kindred see Malkavian as unhinged or a concern. But the truth about Malkavians is that some of them, when they don't succumb to their gifts and they learn how to listen to them or use them, are the most amazing friends to have. They potentially have the gift of foresight. They can see things that we can miss. It's best not to dismiss what they tell you. Take everything with a grain of salt. And Frank, that means anything that you may see as well. Be cautious, but don't necessarily turn it away. Dr. Isaacs, you are my own. You are of the Samitsi. We are of the old world as well. Some of us believe to be monsters incarnate because we can adjust our appearance to fit what we feel is truly a representation of ourselves. Some of your older monster stories are about Samitsi individuals, which took their shift to a much grander and potentially dangerous degree. Hank, you're from the Bruja, a rebellious lot. They usually have fairly quick tempers, and if they don't have quick tempers, they definitely like to be a little bit anarchic.
Okay.
And those are your current clans. It's where your blood has been brought from and shared from. But I would like to point out, though you are these clans, you could have easily been another. And all of these stem back to Caine. We are all Cainites. That's why we don't fixate on clans. The Camarilla do, because you have different abilities in each clan.
So Caine's real.
Yes, Caine is real.
So then God must be real.
I'm not certain on that, and I'm still confirming about Lilith.
Who's Lilith?
Some believe her to be the first female Cainite, the first potentially embraced by Caine. Some various stories floating around out there.
I'm a Malkavian.
Yeah, I'm a Ventru.
I'm a shit dog.
Are
It's
you
true.
alright? Ah, you're good.
Shit dog.
I'm a Bruja. I have a short temper. There you go.
That explains why you punched a guy like you did and he fell to pieces.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
What was Doc again? A monster?
that's Samitsi,
It's me, see.
one of my own.
See, me, see.
Zimitzi.
Zamitsi.
Zimitzi.
Sounds
Me,
exotic.
You have to do it with the little hand motions too. Zamitsi.
Zimitzi. And she'll
Thank
make the hand
Yes.
See, me, see.
So from Italy, Zimitzi.
Sounds like a kind of sandwich.
Well, you should be careful about whom you tell that to out of the Samitsi. They might fold you into one.
Set me see.
I take it it's important us to remember what clans we are, so when we talk to this prince that they know it. Do we meet him like right off the bat, or
If you don't know your sire, you may not need to know your clan, and you can state that you were embraced in their terms, and you want to learn about the knight. And if you plead your case well enough, they may let you.
Are,
I'm certain they'll probably give you a menial task to figure out where all of these new Cainites are coming from.
are there any clans that are looked more favorably upon?
Malkavians.
The Camarilla tend to favor the Ventru.
Are you alright there, Jules? Get you.
yeah,
Oh, we all have to be super nice to you.
The Toreador.
What's that?
bullfighting?
The Toreador are considered the beautiful ones.
Wow, I hate them already.
They are very obsessed with beauty in different ways, and what you beautiful does not necessarily mean that they find it beautiful and vice versa, but they are often considered very gorgeous to gaze upon. And they
Like you and me,
profit.
Frank.
I mean, I'm chiseled from stone, me.
They do have a separation of clans into high and low clans, but it's not important. Camarilla do not particularly look on us favorably, Dr. Isaacs. Though, given the open invitation in New Orleans to try and make a better place,
Why not?
um,
I mean,
over-
if I'm honest, Mr. the Gardener,
Hmm,
you have been nothing but the consummate host.
thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very high compliment.
So I
It's
don't know. I think that's pretty unfair, really.
it's a
That
bit
I
of
don't
our
see you very much.
history. We are very apparent in our appearances at times, and that is a breach of their masquerade.
Well,
It's
you're certainly striking.
Thank you. Beyond that, a lot of our abilities could also break the masquerade. We're the kind of friend that you really want to have and the enemy you want to avoid. And the masquerade and the Camarilla would just rather avoid us altogether.
Their
Would
loss.
you recommend that I hide that information then?
If you're able, I would say don't deny it, just don't offer it.
You could be a Malkavian with me.
All right.
Yeah, that'll work. Or adventure. I mean, you can. It's up to you.
Oh, you've met Smokey. He's of the Nosferatu clan. They're very apparent.
Figures.
If you have the Toreador on the opposite end, you have the Nosferatu.
And the Ventru is the opposite of the Bruja.
Kind of.
Yeah, we're opposite, Jules.
What we opposite?
Don't think you really have an opposite.
Is that because we're the
Oh,
best?
well, maybe you have a spiritual partner.
Who's that?
The Salubri.
What's that?
It's a clan that is believed to be dead.
I guess I don't really know what to say about that.
It's a clan that's believed to be dead because of their abilities. They were persecuted because of their affinity with the soul. And the information I want you to gather about their special guest from Europe is potentially the information about one of the very last. That's why I want them to be our guest.
Right, gotcha. And what about Pete? Who's his opposite?
Isn't that obvious? Werewolves.
Werewolves. Wow,
What?
I'm kidding.
makes sense.
I'm kidding. I tried to make a joke. No, Peter, your opposite would be very similar to the followers of Set.
Followers of who?
Set.
The Egyptian god?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know about Egyptian gods?
There's
Oh,
a
it's
spot
ju-
in New Orleans downtown. It's actually a small temple, and Jules, you'd be right to avoid it.
Wait. There are people that worship, like, they're into voodoo and shit?
That's
There
a
are a
very
lot of
clever-
different clans. I'm just telling you about the primary ones, but there are followers of Set. There's sirens. There are the Giovanni. Over the years, the bloodlines have fractured. Well,
And there will be.
I
She
wish
will
we
be.
had video for this for those listening in the future, but Giovanni with the
Yeah.
hands.
But
Just to join.
both Jules and Frank are doing like that. You know.
Over the years, the primary lines have fractured from curses, from simply the nature of those embraced. There are a number of fragments around the world that have names that are truly clans of their own, but they trace back to original clans like the Toreador, the Ventrue, the Gangrel, the Nosferatu, the Macavian. She looks at you, Dr. Isaacs, and shrugs. It's a Meadsy, sometimes.
And so are the Ventru and the Camarilla like just really just the sticks or what?
What do you mean?
You said that like they're at like the top. Do they look down on everybody? I mean, do I look down on? Do I have to look down on
You don't
Frank?
have to do anything. You can be yourself.
Oh, okay.
The Camarilla has a bad tendency to reinforce being better than one another. And while we fight tooth and nail, they play politics. They play house. We fight a war and they play house.
So we have to pretend to play house while fighting the war.
Yes,
Okay.
if you want. If you want, you could just fight the war. Smokey can give you information. He might start asking for things in return, but he could give you information.
And we want to keep him alive, right?
Smokey? Be in your best interest.
But he plays both sides, so be careful and don't fully trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so when do we do the blood thing?
We can do that this evening if you want. Peter, you want?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
get
you
it
had
done.
done
We
that.
can get on with it.
You had done that with your previous pack,
Yeah.
but Dr. Isaacs?
Yeah, they were rubbish. They all fucked off.
I have no objections.
Wait, you had another part. pack?
Yeah. I've been about a little bit.
He's a month or so before you.
What do they call you?
Legend.
You're right, they were a shit pack.
Really avoiding saying shit dog.
Shit bag with a shit dog.
No, Peter is.
Bullshit, did they call you legend?
Peter is the last survivor of his previous pack.
Oh, you got them all killed. Excellent. I just did a wits and alertness roll and got 5 successes. They never called you legend. What did they call you? Was it
I
shit
don't know what
dog?
they called me.
Was it
wasn't
shit dog?
dog.
It was
No.
shit dog, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Peter, just Peter. You know that your pack never saw you shift. That was something you learned towards the end, or between.
Just shit dude then.
Yeah.
My lord. Hank, Jules, are both of you comfortable with doing the first rite tonight?
I'm fine.
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright.
Get-
I will
get to
explain a
drink some
little bit.
stuff, so
I will explain a little bit more about it.